There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place could be much brighter than tomorrow.
Right, hi guys, welcome to the Xbox cast, and for the first time for this ever, really, we've got Matt Neomaster joining us from RealGamerScore podcast.
That was amazing. That was really good.
It was amazing.
A hell of an intro. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, I want to thank my producer and all the fans, and you know, and I can't forget her, and obviously, you know, Cameron for getting on the show before me last week, and just basically lying to you guys about his credentials, because none of that's true.
we doubted him, actually. I completely doubted him. You look at him and go, no, surely not.
Yeah, he comes in here and he's like, oh, you know, I used to be like an esports MLG player, and I was like, mate, come on, like I've played co-op games with you. Don't feed them that. No. I mean, I know they don't know you that well, but that's just lies. They'll come they'll come listen to our show and just be completely flabbergasted.
And after last week, we know what his internet's like at home as well. So there's no way he can game at home.
I think we're lucky he's not in the chat right now.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, I put the call out, but I'm hoping that he's busy.
Well, thanks for taking the time to join us today, Matt. So I'm joined by Lee and Simone. Oh, yes, that is correct. I almost thought I said my own name. So, as you can tell, we're a bit starstruck because Matt is like the Oceanic Championship Hall of Famer Xbox God person.
Big shot. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is probably like the most serious gamer we've ever had on. So excuse me if I trip over my words. We're constantly just going, we're not worthy, bowing down, you know. How did this Xbox God descend to come chat to us peons who's turn on the Xbox and go to YouTube, you know?
Well, I mean, I was playing the Messenger and I just wanted to throw my controller through my TV, and I figured this would be a good way to just calm down, like a real, just a complete chill out, because I 100% need it.
That's good. We're good at calm. We're good at calm.
Calm. It's fantastic. So, Simone, how are you going?
Good. It's been, well, I can't say it's been a busy week. It's only Tuesday, but I've got Thursday off, so I couldn't be more happy.
Any reason why?
It's my birthday.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So I'm so glad I live in a country where it's not frowned upon to take your birthday off. So I'm good. I keep forgetting to book the massage that I have planned on Thursday.
Wait, you've got
That's
Kyle.
my number
You've got
one.
Kyle, though. Why do you need to book a massage?
He doesn't really enjoy it.
I have little hands.
They get into little places. Right?
So no, little hands means sore pressure points on people's bodies the whole time. You need those nice big comforting hands to, you know, rub the muscle. Whereas me, it's just like 1,000 little needles poking at you.
A massive German lady, basically, is usually the perfect one, right? They just have hands just like they could just take out an entire...
My
you need something firm.
My massage person in New Zealand used to be a massive German lady that did like CrossFit and everything. And oh my word, I would go visit her every Friday afternoon after work, and then Friday night just go sleep. Just collapse. And then Saturday morning wake up feeling like, oh my word, I can move again. My whole body is just unstuck.
Beautiful rehab, hey?
Amazing. And Lee, how are you going?
I'm good. Like I said, it's Tuesday. I did stuff today in work, which was nice. Things worked.
Nice.
I fixed an issue caused by 365, which is also quite good because of Microsoft and all that.
Yeah, 365 is good at that. Keeps us employed.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you go, oh, this is cool. Let's turn this on. Oh, no, wait a minute. It breaks some stuff. So then you spend the rest of the day trying to fix that thing you turned on. Yeah. Why do we turn it on? Because it's new. But
bells and whistles every time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, shiny. Oh no, wait a minute.
Yeah. Shiny's always good.
But that's been good. I fixed it, so it was good in the end. It was just
brilliant,
painful to that point. Yes.
Awesome. Well, good job.
How about you, Kyle?
So
how are you?
Oh man, the more I go to work, the more work they give me. I don't think it's supposed to work that way.
Are you really slow? Is that the problem?
It's called doing a good job.
Oh, that chestnut. Oh,
yeah, he'll learn eventually, right? That's.
So yeah, man, work is there's so much going on at the moment. I can't even think about work without suffering like PSTT shakes or whatever. There's just a lot going on.
Just stop it.
As you can tell, it's affecting my speech as well.
Yeah,
slurring away.
I came into, because we work in different rooms in the house, I came in to give him a hug because I was not busy at that point. And I had to say, Carl, are you okay? And he goes, huh? Yes, I'm just focused. But okay, I'll go
I'll leave you to focus.
Make a cup of tea. Do you want a mandarin?
Yeah. Well, okay, so basically my day today was sending a monster email with all the evidence I have collected to prove that a registry on a server is corrupt, and the server itself needs to be formatted and reinstalled, essentially.
Wow.
And I had to, the whole idea is I had to state my case to people who really don't want to rebuild the server because it's going to cost a lot of time, a lot of money, and then they're going to have to get in contact with people who've installed stuff on the server from 20 years ago, who knows where they are. So it's, yeah. When you're deep in one of those emails, and it's like, if I were to print this out, it would be a novel. And I could call it The Tale of the Server Rebuild.
Volume 1.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not just the tales, the woes.
The woes. So, yeah, today was deep focus, so my brain's a little fried. So,
that's okay.
The questions
we can carry you.
that we're going to be, the questions that we're going to be throwing at Matt will probably be a little bit out of left field and a bit of, wiggly jiggly and out of that side of things.
I'm good at improvising. We'll go for it.
Fantastic. I love
Making it up as we go along. Really?
That's pretty much our motto.
Hey, that works, right? Until it doesn't.
Yeah, until it doesn't. And I mean, the people on Twitch get to see how the sausage is made, so they realize how much we just flounder anyway.
See, that was always the strange thing about our move to Twitch at IGS, because it was relatively recent, right? We've only done the last maybe month or two. Before that, it was all audio. And just out to to Spotify and Apple Podcasts and that sort of stuff. So I would edit all the podcasts, so I could edit out all the parts where I make a joke and it doesn't land at all, or I have to explain the joke afterwards, or we do Song of the Week and no one can hear it, so I have to redo it, or when people are coughing, or when someone comes into the room and starts yelling for no reason. It's like all that stuff that you take for granted not being live, and suddenly you go live and you're like, wow, this is an absolute mess.
It is. It's it's like you don't want to ever watch Chefs in the Kitchen. You just want to have a nice plate presented to you and go, this was perfect.
Yeah, there wasn't
no
a single
problems.
Yeah, exactly. It was
no
one got stabbed.
Yeah,
no screaming. no raw fish getting punched, like Gordon Ramsay style, like none of that.
Out of curiosity, how long does it take you to edit a podcast?
Well, it depends on how much keyboard noise is in the background usually, but
oh no, was ours really hard?
No, your guys' ones was pretty good. It depends. So if it's like if we get a standard recording, I can throw it together in half an hour, maybe, if that. Sometimes because it's like intro, outro music, putting in Song of the Week, lining it up, and then removing any sort of coughs or anything, stuff that's easy to take out.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like, oh, hey, we got some background noise, I'll just go through and try and isolate that. It might be an hour or two. If you have a really unfortunate scenario, like I did once with, one episode where Cameron might have dropped a camera onto his keyboard and stopped his recording, so I had to take the stream recording and then mute everyone but Cameron, and then layer over the other guest's recording to make sure that it all matched up. That took quite a while. So again, it can vary based on the guest, we'll say.
Fantastic, that's great.
I'm not an audio engineer by any means. Basically, I started doing it because no one else knew how to do it, so I just learned. Basically, it was one episode because we used to have Kirby on our show. He used to do it, and then he was like, "Hey, I'm not going to be on this week, and I'm away on holiday, so you just need to figure this out." I'm like, all right, well, here we go, I guess. And so I've just been making it up as I go along. So if the show sounds bad, it's his fault.
That's right. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's amazing. So the typical question we normally, talk to ask our guest first is stuff like, why Xbox? In this world where you've got multiple platforms and, Star Wars on your phone, where you don't need any other game ever, clearly. Mm-hmm. Why Xbox? What about Xbox draws you in?
Well, achievements is the first answer, right? Like, I've but I guess it goes further back. I mean, now it's because I'm in too deep and I'll never let go, right? Like I'm trapped in the spiral. Oh, absolutely. It's a Cthulhu level mind meld that they've just got me under that there's no way I will ever escape. My eyes go green and it's just, Xbox green, of course, because I'm on brand. But I guess, I was always a completionist when it came to, I got introduced to video games relatively late as compared to most people. Like most people like, oh, I had like the NES or the SNES back when I was like 3 or 4. My parents were like, no video games. Like we want you to do sports and stuff and like not be a total shut-in. I showed you guys. So, they got me a PlayStation 1, like towards the end of the life cycle. It was like 99 or 2000. Like, because I think the PlayStation 2 came out like 2001 or something like that. So it was like right at the end. They got it real cheap and like got me like Crash Bandicoot. And like, got super into it and I played it like quite a bit, but like, I was still like, go ride bikes and hang out with my friends and stuff. I didn't really get into gaming until the PlayStation 2. And that's where I like totally fell in love with it. And then I went over to my mate's place and he's like, oh, hey, I got the new 360 and I saw Gears of War. And I was like, this is the most incredible game I've ever seen in my entire life. It plays amazing. To be fair, my friend was also very wealthy because he obviously had a 360 like launch and, they weren't not cheap back then. They had like a projector and like had a sound system and like, so I was like, it was the best experience I ever could have had. And it was like my first HD gaming experience and like my first online stuff and just seeing it. And like it showed me the profile and the Xbox stuff. And I was like, wow, this is like, the PlayStation is cool, but this is like next level. And so I saw Gears and then like, I saw like, it was like, oh, hey, we play co-op and like I used a guest profile and I unlocked an achievement. Okay, sorry, Cameron in chat is just saying, how much do I need to defend myself? You can watch the recording, buddy. We'll get to you. And so, yeah, like I saw it like popped up. It's like, oh, hey, I got an achievement on the guest account. And I'm like, what are these? He's like, he showed me the list. He's like, oh, there's like a list of like unlockable things you get for playing through the game. I was like, oh, are they really? Okay, that looks pretty good. I might. And I was like, oh, hey, do you want to show me that list? He's like, I don't even know how to get to the achievement list. I'm not like interested in that. But immediately I honed in and I was like, ooh, hang on. This is like a list that I can tick off, like, get the dopamine and like, and so the other part of it was I started listening to my first gaming podcast, which again sort of intersects with how I got into IGS. Called NoobTube back in the day. It was a couple of guys from the Bay Area who they were an independent podcast before that was a big thing. Before it was, it used to be like IGNs and things like that. And so they started off basically just reviewing games, but they were like super explicit. So they were like they would swear a lot. They would just like give super honest opinions and like they would just make really off-color jokes. And like I was like 15 at the time and I thought it was the funniest thing in the entire world. Like I was dying. It was just like it was great. Like so I joined their forums and they got super into achievements. They would have competitions on their show. They would go, hey, they would do a thing called the Iron Gamer Challenge. So I think it was like Guitar Hero 2 came out. One of the guys came on, Yuzo came on, he goes, oh, it's like, oh, we're both playing it. We're really enjoying it, reviewing it. Of course, I'm winning the Iron Gamer Challenge. And then Tobin, the other guy, jumps in and goes, well, you were this morning, but I didn't go into work till like 2 o'clock this afternoon. So I just went through and played through the game on medium to make sure that before we recorded that I was ahead of you. And like that immediately appealed to me, like that sort of like smack talking and like competitiveness. And like it was competitiveness on a level that I was like, I can keep working towards something and just like keep putting time into it and like also compare it with friends. And I kind of got into achievement hunting community because it was a kind of, I played games, like there weren't a lot of people played video games around me because like, you had friends like that, but there weren't people who like played video games like I did. Like I played everything, I played a lot and I, got really into them. And people were usually like, oh, I'll play COD and FIFA and like, oh, maybe occasional game. But it's like, if I talk about some like JRPG, the eyes just sort of glaze over. So, but the Xbox was the system that like, it was the sort of perfect timing. I spent like my first summer job, I spent my entire paycheck on a used 360 and a copy of Gears of War. And like, I managed to and I had it like on its side and like it fell over and the disc was in it and ruined my Gears of War disc, which was the only game that I had. And so I had to get it resurfaced and it was a whole thing. And like I by that time I was so invested in the system that I just couldn't let go. And here we are, 16. So I got my first achievement on the 7th of the 7th of the 7th.
Oh wow!
Oh cool!
It was Zen in the Art of Reloading in Gears of War. I did the active reload until I got the achievement because I was practicing it and I just got it. So it was like, and so like since then I've been hooked, right? And like I played a lot, and then I seriously got into achievement hunting a couple years into it. And so here we are. How many years later? 16 years later, or whatever it is. 1.6 million gamer score. Number one for Oceania in New Zealand, and top 50 in the world. So it's been a bit of a road, but but it's like I've loved Xbox. Like it's been super good to me. I've just been adding to the score, but also like the community that's grown up around it, and also like the ease of use, and I like the direction Microsoft was going in. And Shallow's Edge, Cameron has put in the chat, how good did the first Neverwinter pop feel? It felt great because I was playing it because I was dating a girl at the time who convinced me to play it, and I was just like starstruck. And it was only years later that I would deeply, deeply regret that decision for many reasons, the relationship and Neverwinter. But that's a story for another podcast. I'm not going to bore you guys with that.
Oh, no, that sounds fantastic. So the one question I have to ask is, do you have any of the seriously achievements in Gears of War?
I have seriously 1.0. I have seriously 1 in the original Gears of War. I have it in the Ultimate, the remaster that they did for the first game. I have seriously 2.0 on Gears 2, and I have seriously 2.0 on Gears 2 Japan. I do not have 3.0. That's the one that broke me, unfortunately. I just could not do it.
For the normal people, what does that mean?
So the seriously achievements are basically the longest grinds in each of those games. So in Gears of War 1, that would be getting 10,000 kills in ranked matches, which was relatively easy for me because it was literally the only game that I could afford and own. So I just played it to death. Gears of War 2, they were like, hey, we're going to up it to 2.0, so it's going to be 100,000 kills, but you can earn it over ranked matches and campaigns. So there's a part at the end of Gears 2 where you're riding a broom arc and you just blast into the group of enemies. You basically repeat that for about 20 hours and you get the achievement. I wish I was kidding. That is exactly how you do it. It's thankfully I've got a Cronus that I've got a macro that will eventually automate that process for you, which is helpful. But again, you still got to get to that stage and it still takes the 20 hours no matter what you do. Gears 3.0 has that same, basically, is you have to get Onyx rank on all of the medals in the game. So that's like getting, this is like 6,000 kills with every weapon and like finishing all the maps on the hardest difficulty on Horde. And like, it's like crazy, like even beyond what I can find myself dedicated to do. That's not to say I'll never do it, but it's every time I've been like, I could do this or I could do 5 other games. And it's a really hard selling point to be like, you know what? I'm going to invest all this time into something that really isn't worth it.
Yeah, definitely. Because those seriously achievements, you look at, from our point of view, we look at it and we go, oh, one day we might get close to one of those.
Maybe, yeah. It's part of the reason like I didn't really do Gears 4 or 5 because I was like, I just can't have that kind of commitment on my, like I've got too many other, I've got a big enough backlog already that adding this onto the fire would just be lunacy.
Ridiculous.
So I heard you mention macros, which I didn't think you could do for console. I know they're for PC.
Yes.
Are you now? I think this does apply to most achievement hunters, as far as I know. But then there are casuals like us who go, "Oh, that's interesting." So when it comes to certain games like Surviving Mars, and I think Subnautica is one of them, where there are mods.
Mods and console commands.
It's console commands. It's not mods. It's console commands.
So it depends on the game. So Surviving Mars was technically a mod that would just created a mode that would unlock all the achievements for you when you clicked it. Subnautica was console commands. I think Pathologic 2 was console commands. Basically, if they're on PC, a lot of them have console commands. I'm kind of like 50-50 on it, where it's like, if it's something that I haven't played before, I'll probably play a bit of it and we'll see what I'll think about it. Subnautica, like that kind of survival stuff, is not really my kind of game at all. It's the kind of thing that I never would have played on a console if I couldn't just console do the achievements. I mean, having said that, was it what was the game? Fallout 3, for example, like the PC version has console commands in it. I did those because like I've done the game already on the 360. I didn't really feel the need to just go through that stuff again. So it's like, I don't have a problem with it. Like, it's like, I get it. And like people get very elitist about achievements, especially at like this, I feel so wanky saying this, but like at the level that I'm at, right? Like, because I don't see myself, I don't see myself that way, right? Like, it's just like, I just play the games and I've just happened to be doing it for a long time. Like I'm competitive to an extent, but I don't try to make it my whole personality, or at least not when only when I'm not podcasting, at least, right? But but people get very elitist and very much like very purist about it, where I'm like, look, at the end of the day, achievements are something that you either go for or you don't, you care about or you don't, and you care about them on a sliding scale of how much you want to do them versus how obsessive compulsive you are. And they're really just for you, right? Like, why do you care about how other people are playing a game? It doesn't really matter. If they want to ruin the experience for themselves, that's their business. I mean, it's the same thing with like difficulty modes. The people who say like, oh, Dark Souls and difficult games shouldn't have like an easy mode for people to play through it. I think they definitely should. I mean, I think that they should be designed for the original difficulty in mind, but like, there's no reason not to put assist modes and, help people get through these games. I mean, I'm playing through the Messenger at the moment, right? And like that, I've gotten to this part of the end that is absolutely just pulling my hair out in a way that like, I'm talking to other people and a lot of people have had trouble with it, but a lot of other people are like, no, it's difficult, but like, I didn't really have that much trouble with it. So like, I'm like, man, like you guys must be like insane. Like I would kill for like a slightly easier mode or, a little bit of help because like, I just want to get through the game.
I dropped down the difficulty of the games. Like Gears 5 is stupid, especially Idiot Boy keeps dying all the time. So I just dropped the difficulty down.
That's not a very nice name for Kyle.
So you're playing, I remember the ice one with the river in front of you. And you're like, okay, so Dial, whatever his name is. If he dies, you've got to res him. If he dies, you lose the round. You've got to start again. I'm like, okay, so I'm doing quite well and he dies. I've got to go and find him, res him, get back to what I'm doing. But he keeps dying, and then I can't do stuff because then more and more horde and more stuff appear, and I'm like, I can't do this because you need two people to do it. You need an actual person and not the computer to help you.
Yeah.
So I dropped down to story mode because I was sick of dying the whole time. I went, oh, this is much better. I don't die anymore now. I just res myself, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play a game on the easiest difficulty that I can get all the achievements on. Realistically, like the only reason I'll play, I've been thinking about doing the Mass Effect trilogy. And like I was like, oh great, I'd love to go back to that, but I also remember how difficult Insanity mode was, like really difficult on like the second game in particular. And I'm like, do I want to put myself through that again? And it's like, well, like if there wasn't an achievement for it, I definitely wouldn't do it. But because I'm a masochist and there is an achievement for it, I'm definitely going to. So like it definitely dictates like how I play games and also what games I play, for better or worse.
I was extremely grateful that there was no difficulty related achievement in Star Wars Fallen Order.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a perfect example. It's like I had an amazing time with that game. I loved every minute of it when it wasn't glitching.
Yeah, I feel you.
But it's like, yeah, I absolutely played that through on easy because I'm like, I just want to have like a cool Star Wars experience and be a cool Jedi and just mess things up.
And it also depends on your amount of time of life that you can dedicate to the game. Sometimes you just want to have a cool story, shoot some aliens in the face, feel cool, and walk away from it. And if there's no easy mode, then it's kind of like a barrier towards those of like us that are workers and, we only get so many hours a week on the Xbox compared to, teenagers who come home from school and there goes 18 hours of their day.
Oh, absolutely. And like, I obviously put too much time into it, but it's kind of the same issue stretched out over different games. Because you get that thing where people are like, oh, you have 1.6 million gamer score. You must be like super great at all kinds of games. I'm like, no, I'm just acceptable at like heaps of them. Like I don't play any of them long enough to be like MOG Pro, Cameron in chat example. Like I'm not an FPS whiz by any means, but like I can, I get through most of the COD campaigns on veteran. But you put me in an online environment, I'm just going to get absolutely schooled.
How many hours do you spend gaming then? Average daily or weekly?
Daily? I don't know if my boss listening in.
Why don't you say what it is and we'll know it's double that.
Yeah, okay. So I get off work at 5. So let's say I play games basically from the second I don't have to work.
So you work from home?
I do work from home, yes, which is helpful because our office is down in Wellington, so it would be a very long commute. So let's say maybe I eat in there somewhere. So let's say from basically till 6 till 12. So I usually spend about 6 hours of gaming a day if I can. I mean, obviously I have other stuff. I've got podcasting. I've got occasionally, occasionally I need to go out and do stuff. And occasionally, my fiance is like, hey, I need you to, pay some attention to me and not, be present and not, raging at a TV or talking to people on Xbox or trying to organize a boosting lobby for a game that's being shut down. But yeah, best case scenario, I spend maybe 5 or 6 hours a day.
Okay.
And on a weekend, it's basically the entire weekend if I can get away with it.
Yeah.
Okay. So your sporting youth is very much in the past.
Long dead. It's amazing if I even get up from this. Like this couch is incredibly comfortable and it even reclines. It's
Nice.
And I work from it and I game from it. So like the only thing I don't do is sleep, basically. So it's like, okay, well, I will go to sleep and then I'll wake up and I will come sit in this chair until I die, basically, it looks like. I mean, occasionally I get up and exercise when Allison's like, hey, like you are literally dying. I'm like, okay, that's probably,
We can't tell where the couch ends and you begin.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, I will get the crowbar if I have to. And I'm like, okay, all right, fine. It's fine.
That's great.
Absolutely amazing. So,
gosh, I'm so envious of people who only have one hobby.
It's to be fair, like I used to have many hobbies, but they've all been swallowed by the great machine. It was all gaming, and then it was gaming and podcasting, and then I turned them into the same thing, basically. So now I have to keep gaming.
Brilliant. That's awesome.
That's my reason. That's my excuse anyway.
So being so open and honest, what is your feeling towards the Xbox One launch?
It was an absolute nightmare. It was a travesty. I was ready to drop. I was ready to down tools. I was going to jump the fence. I was like because I'm not, I'm very pro consumer, right? Like that's at the end of the day, like as much as I love the Xbox system, and people were like, oh, you're super Xbox, and I'm like, yes, I play games on the Xbox system, and I obviously, I'm not quite in Microsoft's pocket, but like obviously I'm very invested in the ecosystem. But at the end of the day, Microsoft and Sony are both two soulless corporations that would kill me if it made them a profit. And I always have to remind myself of that, right? Like, it's like, they do not care about me as an individual for any, like I'm super sees the means of production, massive leftist, corporations are bad. So again, I probably should have said this before we started recording. This is what's going to get me canceled. But yeah, it was an absolute travesty how they were planning to do this and be like, oh, we're going to destroy the used game market and a lot of digital stuff. A lot of that stuff ended up coming to pass naturally as we've moved to this sort of market and internet speeds become better in most places. And people, games have gotten more affordable, and basically it's also gotten harder for physical to get out there. And also, indies have gotten the chance to get in and actually make games and not have to do a physical release or, have to get a big publisher. So, they weren't necessarily wrong with the launch, but they were trying to force something that the market was not ready for yet. And like people outside of America especially were not ready for, because they didn't take into account, bandwidth caps or,
people in the army and navy and stuff, don't they? That's what, playing a lot of 360 stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the thing. It's like, a lot of them don't have online connections all the time or stable stuff, and like having that online check-in stuff. I mean, like I'm always online now, but I wasn't always back then. Like I was like, 2013?
Yeah.
So it was like, I was still, I was traveling. So I was like, I was in the States and like, I didn't have stable internet all the time. And I, sure as hell didn't have, like a fiber connection that would always keep me online and run at super great speeds that I could, stream all this stuff. Like anyway, it's a long-winded answer, but yeah, I think that they definitely recovered from it, but it was a massive blow and definitely the wrong way to, it was a problem of messaging and pricing and timing. They hit the trifecta and completely screwed it.
Yeah. Microsoft's really good at seeing what's coming in 20 years and then building stuff today for what's coming in 20 years and not actually going, the stuff in 20 years is not here yet. So
yeah, exactly. It's great for future-proofing and not much else.
Yeah. So, I mean, it makes them feel good, but at the end of the day, they kind of need to build for the here and now and say the next 2 or 3 years and then reiterate, as they go forwards, rather than just being one of these companies that are like, yeah, but in 20 years' time, you go, yes, but we're not in 20 years' time.
It's like, I might not even be alive in 20 years' time. What are you doing? I want to play some video games. Give me a Halo game. I don't want to play on the Kinect.
Speaking of Kinect, did you ever get any Kinect achievements?
Yes, unfortunately. So, okay, so I will try and, I will try and keep this story brief and PG. Which is a hell of a way to start. So the girlfriend / woman that I was seeing when I during that period was with the original Kinect. She convinced me to buy Kinect because she wanted to video chat with me because she was overseas at the time. She was also a married woman from Tennessee who was 7 years older than me, but that is definitely not a story for this podcast.
At least it wasn't a guy.
No, well, it turned, thankfully. I mean, she was married to a guy, but that's again not the point. So she was like, hey, she was like, hey, I have a Kinect. I'm super into Xbox. like, hey, you know, like hang on video chat and stuff, and like, you know, he comes to my house and stuff, and like, you know, we'll play like Connect games or whatever. I'm like, cool, I'll pick up a Connect or whatever, sure. So I picked it up. We hung out a lot. We ended up breaking up, and so I had the Connect there, and I was like, it came with Connect Adventures, and I'm like, I bought this damn thing. It's basically a paperweight now. I should probably play a game with it. I have one game. Let's give it a try. And I so wish I hadn't done that because Connect Adventures is really hard. And also, again, this aforementioned like no exercise thing does not work. Like that, you know, like if anything, I was more unfit back then. So like again, so like just for comparison's sake, it was So again, I got like a few achievements in it, and I know they had a server closure, so of course I went through and did that achievement. But it's one of those things where I'm like, it's one of the reasons I've still got the 360 hooked up because I'm gonna have to go back and do it at some stage because it's not backwards compatible.
Yes.
But again, so I wasn't sucking into doing the Connect 2.0 at least. So there's the 360 Connect, but other than that, that was it.
Man, okay. Flip. That's yeah. We've got a couple Connect achievements, Simone?
We do. Dance Central Spotlight.
Yeah. And the most buggiest game I think I've ever played.
Yeah.
You know, the one where it's like 2 players, just half five, and you half five, and your Xbox hard crashes.
I think that's a feature.
It's not a bug, it's a feature. Yeah, exactly.
There should be an achievement for that. Like, you just shut down your Xbox by following the on-screen instructions.
I think it's the thing is that like you clap at the perfect resonancy that it sounds just like you're saying Xbox off, and it just very confused.
Xbox crash, and the whole game goes, and then it restarts, and you go, oh, wow. That's a great effort there. Well done, chaps. So yes, this is a Game Face episode, which means we're supposed to be talking about our games and what we've played. And because we're neck deep in Back to Your Backlog month for this month, I suppose, what have we been playing for Back to Your Backlog? Do you want to kick us off there, Mr. Lee?
I can, yes. I have been playing Borderlands 2.
How far are you?
I've got 4 chapters to go, I believe. So
mostly, do you think you'll finish it before the end of the month?
I was initially I completed all the side missions until I got to a point where I was like, I'm running out of days now. I need to complete the actual mission. So I talked to Kinsman, and he said you can actually complete the chapters and then go back and complete all the side missions afterwards. So I'm going to go do these last, because you can actually do chapters reasonably quickly. They're not that actually hard, the actual chapters. I'm level 26, which is high enough to go through them and survive and do stuff.
Oh, cool.
It's an awesome game, though. There's so much to do. It's so much fun. And just keeps going. And then jumping in with Kinsman's fun, because he's a ridiculous level. So I just get to follow him around, and then he boosts my level up, which is nice.
Oh, cool. Awesome. How are you finding the humor?
The humor's good. I do worry about Scooter, though. He seems to have issues with women.
Oh, that's great.
Yep. There's a few issues there. People have issues.
It's Borderlands. I think issues is its middle name.
Yeah. One of them is, I can't remember what they call the guys that run around and shoot with the thing running at you, the psychos.
Psychos.
And one of the missions was literally, it was on the other side of a cliff. I was like, I had to get over there, so I jumped over. You know, and I went, okay, so what's the mission? He said, shoot me in the face. I need you to shoot me in the face. I was like, okay. So I shot him in the face, and that was the mission.
Yeah. And
wow.
It's And his name, I think his name was Shooty McFace Shoot.
That's right. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And when you shoot him in the face, like you shoot him in the face, he dies and he goes, "Thank you," and then just dies.
Well, I accidentally shot him in the shoulder first off, and he was like, "That's not my face," and then I shot him in the face. So,
It's great because I also love that quest because the quest icon has "shoot me in the face" and like the quest fail thing says not the leg, not the arm, not the chest, shoot me in the face.
And then there's an achievement for it.
Very, very clear.
You actually get an achievement called like the easiest achievement ever or something stupid like that. It's,
yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, it's so cool. So that's the levels of, stupidity, I guess you call it. Yeah.
So you aren't getting bored of the humor?
No, well, no, not at all. No, it's good. No, it keeps going. It's just a steady stream of stupid. And especially because that's quite far into it. That's like chapter... I think, well, that was only just recently last night completed that mission, so I've been playing it all month, and that's still the level of stupid that keeps coming out. And you go, that was good, that was funny.
Have you? Cool. There's I know you said you're not doing the side quest. Did you do the one with the fighter jet pilot guy? So basically,
I've done lots of the side quests, but I haven't done. I've stopped because I ran out of time, right?
Right, yeah. So there is one side quest that is particularly funny. So there was a guy who used to do a podcast who used to end up writing for the He wrote for Gearbox. He wrote for Borderlands 2, so he did a lot of the humor. And so he put in a quest there that is, you talk to a fighter jet pilot. He's like, okay, I need you to go and burn all these volleyball nets, and then basically every single line in the mission is a quote from Top Gun. And so it's just like Top Gun reference, Top Gun reference, Top Gun reference, Top Gun reference until you get to the end, and he just goes, "You could be my wingman any day." Quest complete.
Oh, that's so good.
And like apparently they just came about because one guy went to the writer and was like, "Hey, can we put like a Top Gun quest in this game?" He's like, "Hell yeah, we can. We're just gonna throw this guy in here. He's not relevant to anything else. He's just a fighter jet pilot standing there." And we're just going to, you go around burning volleyball nets, and that's pretty much
Actually,
it.
I have a question for you. So one of the quests is to find out who killed this guy. I can't remember the name.
Oh, yeah, the murder thing. Yep.
Yeah, so you go basically got like 4 different people to talk to. So you talk to all 4 people, and you get back. And the first time I didn't actually realize you talked to people. I just went and clicked on one of the guys, and he went, "Oh, you accused me, do you?" I was like, "No, that wasn't what I was supposed to. I was actually trying to talk to you, but okay." So I quit the game and reloaded it again with the new. All right, okay. So this time I will do all the missions. I'll talk to everybody. And it doesn't give you absolutely any information that's useful. So I did someone else instead, and it still was wrong. I was like, is this actually impossible? Because you still complete the mission.
I think it's just luck. Like, I think it's just like you just pick one. I don't even know if it's, I need to look it up, but I think it is just like random as far as I remember, because I just picked someone as well. I was like, well.
Because you kind of go,
I don't know, like.
What was it? It's like one guy had like, I think, or maybe had blood on him because the way they described some blood on something. I was looking at him going, well, maybe one's got blood on his back or something. So I think he had, the way he killed them was using something which had blood. I was like, oh, okay, cool. None of them had blood on them. I was like, well, this is completely useless.
Yeah, I don't think any of the clues are actually helpful in any way, shape, or form.
I thought it was me. I was like,
I think it's that typical thing where it's like it thinks it gives you a choice, but really it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay. So that's the level of these missions, like these side missions. They're just stupid. Like, you have no idea what's going on half the time. And yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes. It's cool. It's fun. It is fun. Yeah. And I remember one of the best missions is actually one with the robots appear for the first time. That was really cool. When you're just running, that was a really good mission.
Yep.
Yeah, that's real cool.
Which one's that?
So what happened? Oh, you rescued the black guy, whatever his name is.
Roland.
You rescue him, and then you run through basically a war zone to get out, and there all these robots appear right at the sky,
dropping in, and yeah,
and that's cool. And I discovered quite early on in the game you don't need to kill everything; you just run. It's okay.
A lot of the time, it's just like whatever. Just if you don't want to shoot, don't shoot it.
And money's completely worthless as well.
Pretty much, because you lose a huge chunk of it every time you die, but it's all proportional. So it's like 10%.
Yeah. So when you first start dying, you might lose 100. You go, oh, that's annoying. But then when you got like 150 in the clock, you lose in the bank. You lose like 20,000 when you die. You're like, oh, okay. Well, this is, and everything you buy is relative to how much money you've got. Like ammo is relative as well. Everything's relative. So money is a complete waste of time.
Wow.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. So Kinsman was giving me stuff worth loads of money. I was like, well, there's no point selling it because I'll just be charged more when I die. So
it's no use being rich because the game will just tax me anyway.
Yeah, so you might as well run around nothing.
That's a perfect utopian society.
That's right. Yeah. Money is worthless, and all the good guns you get from all the missions, you don't get good guns from buying them, so you don't need the money for the guns or anything. So yeah.
No, it's basically just to buy ammo and health occasionally.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I'm playing a Siren who's pretty cool because she can heal herself, which is handy.
Oh right, yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't play Tiny Tina?
No, you can't play Tiny Tina. She's not an option at the beginning.
Oh,
you talk about the Necromancer?
Yes.
The Necromancer is my favorite.
Same.
Yeah, I love summoner classes in games. So, and also just that also it's like massively overpowered and broken because they put it in after it was like DLC. So they were just like, just chuck it in, just break everything.
I actually can't wait to play that DLC, the one where you do Tiny Tina's DLC, the one where you go and do a AD&D game. Sounds fun.
Assault on Dragon's Keep.
Yep, that's it.
There's a really good mission in there about the whole gamer girl thing where there's one of the have you guys met you met Torg yet in the game? It's a big buff guy, yells all the time. He's in one of the DLCs. I don't know. I can't remember if he's in the main game, but he's supposed to be like Macho Man Randy Savage style. Like he has the bandana and everything. And so in that DLC, there's a part where he has to go. They keep like quizzing him on questions because they don't think he's a real gamer because he's buff and like he goes to the gym and stuff. And so like it's the whole gamer girl thing where they're trying. It's like, oh hey, what happened in this episode of this thing that's a really obscure thing that no one would know. And it's like, I don't know, man. Like that's crazy. Like I just enjoyed this show. Like why can't I like just be part of your community? And they're like, oh man, fake gamer guys, whatever.
That's so good.
It was very on the nose, but I loved it.
So,
so
have you guys
funny.
played it? Carl, Simone, have you played Borderlands 2 at all?
I played number 1, but I haven't finished it.
Yeah, I've done a run through of number 2, but the problem I have with Borderlands is after like 15, 20 hours, I just get bored of the humor. And the humor's all the same, the quests are all the same, you know what you're getting. So in my mind, what's the point of finishing it? Because it's not going to change. There's nothing new coming at you.
Wow.
And I also found that the way that they've done the stats on the guns to be really confusing.
Oh no, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know why.
No.
I struggled with it.
Yeah, I look at a gun and I go, how is this better than the one I'm using? It says it's better. There's more green against it, but what makes it better? And then you change to it, and then suddenly you've gone from this awesome, machine gun to this little pistol that's apparently better. And you're going, oh, I hate pistols. Why am I using a pistol? This is annoying. I just go for the green, and the green is lying to me.
The thing with Borderlands is one of the games, if the humor isn't doing it for you, it's one of those games that you basically have to play co-op and have as a co-op experience of just like hanging out with friends and just playing through it, because the gunplay is not that great. Like it's passable, but because of a lot of it is stat based, like it doesn't really matter. You shoot someone in the head, they take more damage, but it's all numbers coming off them, right? It's all RPG mechanics in the back end. So like it doesn't have that sort of COD snappiness to like, oh, headshot, 360 no scope. But although I think there is an achievement for that in one of them. This is like a joke one for that. But like like if you're not digging the humor, the gameplay is not going to save it for you, especially if you're playing it by yourself. Because like I played through Borderlands 2 on the 360 and on the 1. I did the Handsome Collection, and I did 1 and the Game of the Year edition of 1 as well. And I've still got the pre-sequel that I've started that I need to do. And like, I enjoy it, but it's like, it does definitely grind to a bit of a halt, especially if you're playing it by yourself. It's like, well, like it's funny, but it's also like, I get it. Like it's funny, but like, I also still have to, it's like, oh, hey, we're going to do this mission that we're parodying like, bad escort missions, but you still have to do the mission. Like you can't just parody something and then do it, because then you're just being as bad as the thing that you're parodying.
Mm-hmm.
I think the side missions are actually better than the main missions, though, because most of them are quite funny.
I would agree.
Yeah,
that's where they get the creativity, and the main missions get it quite serious. Actually, I mean, obviously there are humor in there because Handsome Jack is hilarious.
Yeah. When he found he lost his violin and found it, that was good.
Yeah, that again, funny. Yeah.
Yep.
So, what is the story for Borderlands 2?
Stop Handsome Jack getting into the vault.
Pretty much.
Okay, nice and simple. You can summarize in one sentence. Perfect. That makes a good storyline for a game.
That's actually really good. Maybe I should play and I'll remember what happens.
Like, I mean, Gears of War, the storyline's pretty simple. Stop the locust.
Yep, shoot, get behind cover, shoot some more.
Yeah. If there's chest high walls, a boss is coming.
Music. The music changes. That's what you know.
Yeah. Roadie run as much as possible. Just hold down that A button and just camera shake like it's the Bourne Identity.
And then you hear that heavy breathing.
Yeah.
So I played 2 other games as well, quickly. I played, I can't remember what it's called now. The one where you drive trucks. And it came on...
Truck driving simulator?
No, it came on Game Pass, and you drive trucks.
Plus the truck.
Snow thingy.
Snow
driver. Snow piercer, snow trucker.
Yes.
Big mother truckers.
No. What's it called? Someone does trucks and snow. It's really interesting. It's a very interesting game. It's like a simulation of truck driving, but it's not really, because it tries to be, but it's not really. It's very weird. So you kind of start off and you've got to start the engine, take the handbrake off, and then drive away. And then you've got to change gears and put them into 4-wheel drive, and then down to low gears and all this sort of stuff to drive around. It's very strange.
Sounds like a simulator.
Sounds like a simulator. But it kind of is a bit cartoony for being a simulator. But then you find your first truck, and then you go, oh, cool. And then it tells you to go and pick up some wood. But don't go on the dirt, because this truck doesn't work on the dirt. And I'm like, but I'm parked on dirt to start with. How is this going to work? So drive down a hill.
It's good logic.
It's stupid. You can't crash because it damages your truck as well, which I discovered.
Makes sense.
Yep. And you pick up the wood, and then then you pick up your first mission where it says you need metal. I'm like, but why did you send me to the wood place to get metal? So I had to drive somewhere else to dump the wood, which took ages to work out. I was just like, I spent ages playing this stupid game. And I did pick up the metal in the end, and then I got bored. I went, I can't. This is just so hard.
What made you? Yeah.
Because it looks really cool. I like the video for it. Watching the video for it was really cool. I was like, oh, this looks awesome fun.
So you bought into the hype.
Into the hype. Yep.
It's all marketing.
It is exactly. Yeah.
I was gonna say they do a trailer of you driving a truck, Tokyo drifting around corners and that sort of stuff, and it's like you get in there and it's just beep beep.
That's really
beep.
reversing.
You're like, oh, okay.
And you're just not quite
okay.
reversing in the right place. And then it was like you can pick up a trailer. I was like, cool, pick up a trailer. So I parked up and pressed button. It said no trailer available. I was like, well, what's the point of telling me I can pick up trailers if there's no trailer? Like, what's stupid game? And then I played.
Is this Snow Runners?
Snow Runners.
Or Mud Runners. Or so, what's it called?
Mud Runners was the previous one that they did.
Oh, Snow Runners. Is that what it's called?
Snow Runners is this is the new one, yeah.
And then I played MLB the game.
And what possessed you to jump into that?
Well, I used to play baseball games
PlayStation.
way back in the day. I used to play baseball games. I thought, I haven't played one for ages, and this one's supposed to be quite good. And I ended up sitting there and doing a whole innings as the New York Yankees. And you start off, it's actually quite clever. So what you do is you start on beginning. It says start on beginning. I was like, start on beginning. You choose how you pitch, you choose how you throw, you choose how you run, you choose how you field, you do everything. You get shot. How you choose how you run between the between the bases. Everything gets chosen for you. There's like 5 or 6 different things you do first off, before even starting. It's like, wow, okay. And then it goes. Then it's like throw a ball. And you're like, but you don't actually tell me how to throw the ball. It was so weird. I was like pressing A, no. And then I was messing around and then I managed to throw it. I was like, oh, how the hell did I do that? And I discovered that the right thumb thing, if you move that in a certain direction, is like a fastball for going down and up as a fastball. And then doing a circle is like a slider and all this. And I was like, oh, I get it. So, yeah, that was the first innings. It's basically me not really knowing what I was doing. And then I was trouble with fielding's really hard, I discovered. Went through to the end. So it was on the 9th. They were 5. Oh, they had 7 and I had 5 runs. And I was like, right, okay, so I've got to get 3 to win here, and this is the last chance I'm going to get them. So I hit one guy, he ran to the first base. I was like, okay, cool. I need 3 runs. So then I hit again, and then the next guy got to the base. So I had 2 guys on the bases. I needed to hit a home run to win, and I did. And I was like, yes.
Oh, that's so good.
Cool. So once 8-7, I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's much fun. Yeah, really cool. But I recommend it.
How do you decide what team to play? Are you a Yankees fan?
I know the Yankees, the name.
Yeah, same.
Brand recognition gets them every time.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
It was Yankees.
So, okay, so your reason would have been the same as mine.
Yeah, well, against LA something, you see? Don't even know who it was against. I know it was against LA, and that's all I know.
I was almost going to say Lakers, but I think that's basketball.
That is basketball.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, no.
But that is the right city, at least, so that's good.
Yeah.
Great.
It's really cool. It's very good. Like the graphics are very good. The commentators are a bit disappointing. I expected being the show would have like commentators talking all the time, giving you stick and saying like it's really busy and all the bases are loaded and all this. Nothing at all. They say, this is so-and-so who's come to hit the ball. And that's it. Every time someone comes out. I was like... This is not a show. I expected more show stuff, like, flying screens and graphics and stuff like that. But
Just the so-and-so come to hit the ball.
It was literally...
Everyone in the stands goes, that's what's happening now.
Like, guy comes out, they say his name, everyone cheers. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I quietly throw the ball or miss the ball or whatever. And then, yeah.
Must have been a really easy day in the recording booth for those guys.
That's right, just say a bunch of names. Yeah, excitedly.
Read the names off, yeah.
Yeah. There's no averages, there's no GPAs and all that sort of cool stuff I wanted. Nothing at all. I did manage to wear out my the fielder guy what's called him the pitcher. I didn't realize he gets tired. So it starts off really well and then it slowly gets worse and worse. And then it says your pitcher's tired. I was like, okay, that's interesting. It took me ages to work out how to substitute somebody. And then I noticed his power was down at the very bottom. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So then I changed it and immediately got the person out. I was like, so this as the pitcher gets worse, he also gets slower. So that's a really cool mechanic. You've always got to keep an eye on your players because they get tired. I was like,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's really well done. Yep. Like, it's a really well done game.
You need to make sure you play the expansion where you have to work behind the scenes to downplay all their scandals and other stuff that happens off screen. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, all the drug taking and all that. Yeah.
So I think actually that was more like was it NFL Blitz or whatever it was, where you have to help your players take drugs like testosterone and stuff to get them stronger, and you smash into someone and all their bones break, and just really hardcore stuff. It was like baseball, usually a bit more laid back.
It is. It goes on for like 17 days, doesn't it? As well, it's a really long game.
Yeah, it's a very, very long game. It's America's great pastime, which is also up there with napping and drinking beer. So yeah,
basically, and eating fatty food. Yes, but I played it until like about 12 that night because I kind of started it a bit late. I think I just got out of Borderlands. I was like, I'll just load this up for a quick play, and then I was like, well, only got another innings to go, or 2 or 3 to go, and then I just kept going, and it was getting kind of interesting, so I just kept going. Yeah, it's very cool. I recommend it. It was some fun. I got 200 gamer score for it as well, for just turning up and hitting the ball, so it was quite impressive. Not knowing what I was doing, kept going. I broke someone's bat. That was quite good. Got a gamer score for that. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you recommend everyone plays MLB?
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's real fun. I reckon multiplayer would be quite good fun because you give each other a stick all the time when you're about to throw it.
Can you do multiplayer?
Yeah, sure you can. They must do multiplayer, surely.
Yeah, it has got a relatively dedicated multiplayer community. At least it did on the PlayStation before it came over. So I don't know.
Yeah, I imagine.
But apparently it's like was crazy successful on Game Pass. So
yeah, that's awesome. Maybe we should see more of those soon. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So Simone, what have you been playing?
I feel it's been so long since we did a proper game face. I had to really think. Not much is happening in Stardew except for one scandal.
Ooh.
You had an update for us, though, didn't you? A very important update for us.
I did, yeah. It's semi-related to the purple pants. So as I said in the last episode, in winter, so this didn't happen in the first couple months of playing the game, but I've started discovering these things called secret notes, and you can collect them. And there's a variety of clues. I think they're all puzzles in some way, but they don't all follow the same format, so they take a bit of brain.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. So some are maps, some are directional instructions, some just give you clues as to what kind of gifts other people like, and that's really cool. Now, this particular secret note, I did manage to work out because I'm terrible with puzzles, but it was a map, and I thought, okay, I know where that is. Although I will admit I'll explain what the map looked like. So it was a specific tree next to a bridge, and I knew exactly where that was. Above the fold, if you can understand that.
Newspaper.
It had, yes, exactly. It had a clock that directed, I think, about 11 o'clock. It's an analog clock. And then next to it, it had a moon. So I can go, okay, 11 p.m., that tree. First time round, I was 10 minutes late to the tree. So I'm like, fine, let's go to bed. Next evening, I shook the wrong tree. Yay me. Third time lucky, I got the right tree. And guess who jumps out of the tree and runs away?
Was it your guy with the purple pants?
It is the mayor and his mistress.
Oh, scandal.
So that was not what I was expecting. I was expecting some kind of creature to pop out, probably an alien. So I was not expecting that. I love the idea that this, apparently, according to the note, happens every night. So
there's new couples there. Just can't get them away from each other.
Yeah, and I mean they're getting on in age. I mean the mayor has white hair, so I am impressed. It's something to aspire to.
It's a good healthy living out in the countryside, you know.
Oh, yeah. All natural. Okay.
And I mean nothing like love to make you go climb a tree every night at 11 p.m.
It's not even a big tree. It was more like a very tall bush. So it doesn't sound particularly comfortable. But who knows? And I want to know who wrote the note.
Oh, yes. Someone's got it in for the mayor, I think.
It is. There's a fantastic little side story here that's going to take me a couple in-game years.
I think actual
and
years.
And many real years. Yeah. To find out. I may never gain Marnie's trust to enter her room and get those purple pants back for the mayor, but we'll see. It's definitely not going to be this real life month.
Yeah.
Making friends is too hard.
Do you think now that you've caught the mayor with his mistress that he's going to be more willing to help you out with things?
I tried to chat to them because Easter came around and there was an Easter egg hunt. You can go around and chat to everyone, and they didn't even seem to acknowledge that. My guess is they didn't recognize me. They were in such a hurry to run to their respective homes.
I mean, it was dark and you were wearing a balaclava, right? So,
Exactly. It was 11 o'clock at night, Lee. I think I was wearing green, but yeah.
I mean, here you are with your lady friend, you know, enjoying her company in a bush as one does. And suddenly someone starts coming along and rattling your bush. You're not going to look at the person rattling your bush. You're going to just hoof it out of there.
The question is, what did they think the night before when I rattled the wrong bush?
That's asking the real questions.
They must have gotten such a fright, and they would have said to themselves, "Phew, that was close."
Or maybe they thought that there's a bear or something in the woods. And so when you rattled the bush, they thought, oh man, yeah, it's the local wildlife.
But if they were really scared, they would have chosen a different bush the next night, I'm sure.
They didn't have time to write another note, so they just had to stick with what they had.
Good point. Good point. Although it's my theory that it's the little aliens that wrote the note. I think they're just up to mischief.
Oh.
So we'll see. Well, I managed to decipher one of the other secret notes, which was way up north by the train. And you just have to dig in the right spot. And I like these. I like the map ones because I know the area quite well now. And out popped a treasure chest. And it's great. And there's nothing you can do with the treasure chest except sell it. So just get money bags. Yeah. Because I'm a terrible hoarder. I think, but what if I need this? And it's not good to be a hoarder in Stardew Valley because you don't make any money.
Yep.
So it's great when games just say, this is useless, but you can sell it for some money. And I'm like, great. Well, that makes things easy. I'm never going to need this.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Keeping a lot of mayonnaise around?
Yep. I found a few people that quite enjoy mayonnaise. So now I always have one in my bag. Spring seems to be the season of people wanting or having a craving for seaweed. So that's great because, you know, I never throw things away. So I've got heaps of seaweed to gift people. So as I said, it was Easter recently, and they have this annual Easter egg hunt. And you have to, I don't know how old they think I am, but I'm lumped in with the children, and I'm allowed to run and find these Easter eggs, which is great. They're hidden quite well, but I never win. I don't know how these children find these eggs. It must be, I think it's an ability you lose as you get older.
The ability to find Easter eggs wherever they are. Yeah,
exactly. So no, I've never won, but
man,
next year.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. This game just surprises me each time that there's so much stuff in this game about farming. Stardew Valley, you're like, hey, let's start farming, and then suddenly you're shaking the mayor out of bushes at night and giving treasure chests to aliens.
Mm-hmm.
One character I haven't spoken about very often because I forget he's there is a wizard.
I was just about to say, and also making friends with wizards. Yeah.
Now, I keep forgetting he's there because it's an area of the map I never really visit. I spend a lot of time in my farm and I spend a lot of time in the town. So there is a wizard. Now, I've got a current quest that doesn't expire. It's one of those nice ones you can take your time with to bring him a void essence. And so that means you got to go into the mines, I think. Yeah. And you got to kill something called a void. And I'm only down to level 60 in the mines. And
pretty good.
Based on the shape of the UI, where you can click what level to jump down to, I'd say there's about 80 levels, maybe 90.
How many levels are there in the Stardew mine? 100?
100? Okay, that sounds about right.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I have a Stardew expert sitting next to me, so
awesome. So yeah, so 60, 65, and I've not come across a void. So yeah,
sounds like some Minecraft stuff.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Except your tools don't break.
Yeah.
And
that's
there's no mayonnaise as well.
So apparently there are 120 floors of the mine.
Oh wow! So I'm only halfway.
You're halfway.
Far out. I was so impressed with myself. I was just like, oh, I'm just average. I'm the literal definition of average. It being 60 out of 120. Great.
Have you completed that game then, Matt?
I am the casual.
No, I haven't. Allison has played it to death. But
fantastic.
It's a little bit outside of my wheelhouse in terms of time investment, and not really a big farmer. But I can recognize. It's one of those games that I recognize as a fantastic game, and if it was more my thing, I would have played the hell out of it. But But you know, like I own it, so I might play it at some stage. We'll see. But I've seen a lot of it, I'll say.
I love how there's always someone in the friend group who is the farmer. When we play Minecraft together, we've got a friend, his gamer name is Pwed, and he sets up the farm. And everyone else is busy building their house, but no, he's growing wheat.
It's important.
And I love it because he is actually, well, he was as a kid. He grew up on a farm. So it's the first thing he's like, right, we got some wheat. Now we're going to get some cows.
You might say it's ingrained in him.
I would.
Wow.
Okay, that was great.
Thank you. I'm here all week.
Try the fish.
So yes, I love it. Love it.
Oh, man, that's amazing. So good.
But yeah, I mean, hey, that's the beginning of agriculture, right? Someone's got to do the farming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, everyone in a small community like that, everyone's got their job. What's my job? I fish.
Oh, there you go.
I'm trying to think. I fish generally, and I like to keep the boys fed.
That's good because usually the person who doesn't do anything, it usually becomes food when things get bad. So you just gotta,
That's right.
having a job is good.
Don't they get eaten or something when everyone gets hungry?
I mean,
Fish.
Fish do, yeah.
Actually, I do that on Sea of Thieves as well. The boys are off adventuring. I'm like, right, these boys are going to come back hungry. Need to catch some fish, cook it up.
And anything else?
Not in terms of Stardew Valley, unless you care about the fact that I'm at least laying some cobblestones in my farm. So that's exciting. It looks great, but my describing it's not so great. For not our back-to backlog, Kyle and I went through our second raid in Anthem the other day, and what's nice is if you can't matchmake and there's only two of you, it seems to scale down the enemies, which is quite nice. So that was good. We played the same raid twice, and in the second time we didn't matchmake, so it was just us. And I went through and I thought, Kyle, man, we're pretty good. We're not doing too badly here. He says, I think they've scaled down the enemies.
Making it easy for you.
But what's really hard, those puzzles, they're like Destiny puzzles. There's so much going on, you can't sit and think how it's supposed to be, solved. Yeah.
I remember I was lucky because my first time I did it, I think I was with people who'd done it before. So I kind of just went, right, okay, that's how you do it. That's cool.
Just follow these
guys.
Yeah. Just follow the
because no one was playing when I was playing. You lot just refused to play it, so I was all on my own. I had to hang out with randoms.
We were delayed. We were delaying gratification. Right. We were waiting for Anthem 2.0, which never came, but that's fine.
Yes, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, we played with people who were lower levels than us, so they also.
Still new people starting that game, is it? It's interesting.
It looks like it, eh?
Yeah. In fact, I think most of the players we've matched with have been lower than us.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I think people are now a bit nervous about server closures, so they're all jumping in.
Could be. And we're not that high level. I think we're level 15.
Yeah. Halfway. The second time where Simone and I did it by ourselves, we actually got to the end of the raid boss, which I thought was quite exciting.
We ran out of time. I don't know. Big dude.
Big dude, things on his arm. He has like a hammer head.
Are you on a platform? Is he throwing fire at you? Is that the one?
You're on a platform. It kind of looks like, I guess you could call it a platform. It looks like sand, but there's water that's like whole
back. There's like a wall of water
very
around
Noah-like. Yeah, very biblical.
Nice.
Wall of water around you.
Moses, you mean?
Say that again.
Moses, you mean?
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes. Oh my word.
Come on, Simone.
I know. So that was cool because you fly down into that area and it's incredible. Up into it? Okay.
Yeah.
And it looks just amazing.
Massive wall of water. And then this huge guy who doesn't even come halfway up to this wall of water that you have to fight.
Oh, it was so awesome. Cool.
No, I'm going to be looking at the achievement list for this, aren't I?
It's beautiful.
It's such a cool game. It's so cool.
Really
I think the last time I played it was when I got the Series X the first day and I went, ooh, Anthem. So jumped in and had to fly around. I was like, yeah, it's such a cool game.
Yeah. All they need to do is just release like the 4K 60 patch for it. and then don't touch it. Just leave it. Let people play through it, get all the achievements. Since they're not giving us 2.0, at least
Now
throw us a bone.
This isn't a serious plug for our Instagram, but I did post a short video on Instagram of Anthem, and it is hilarious.
Is that you trying to go through hoops?
Yes. Did you watch it?
Watch
great. You don't have to follow us, but just watch that video because it's so funny, and I probably won't put it on
You're
Twitter.
like, look at me trying to be like my husband.
It's so funny, and it's great because you make a noise when you smack into something.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and it took me a while to figure out what direction I was facing because I land, I stop, and I go, okay.
Have you done the time channel? No, the time challenges. Yeah, the things we have to go through the hoops.
Not yet.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Yeah, they're really hard. They're really annoying. You have to go through these hoops in a certain order and at a certain speed, and then you get kind of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, okay. No, where?
Just
I haven't seen anything
random
like
when
that.
you're doing free flying around.
Oh, we haven't actually done much free play.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
We're doing the story,
We're just hammering the story, just trying to get through that.
talking to lots of people.
Lots of talking,
man,
isn't there? Lots of going to person, talk to person, talk to the next person.
So annoying. And you walk super slowly in the citadel or whatever it is.
It's, the biggest gripe I have of the game is that I'm playing the female character, Kyle's playing the male character, and the female voice actor is sarcastic the entire time. And she's just really a horrible person. And Kyle and our TV is directly one above each other. So sometimes I'll turn my volume down to hear his dialogue and such. And the male's voice, he's a
nice
sweetheart.
guy. He's a real nice guy, yeah.
He's so nice and so smooth. And I'm thinking, I'm just a horrible person. So I don't like that. It's not fair.
Yeah, your character's super sassy about
she
everything.
Yeah.
You're being told the world is ending, and she's like, and you expect me to save it? Where the male is like, I will go save the world today. Let me don my broken armor.
Exactly. I suggest every woman who wants to play Anthem play as the guy and just pretend you're not playing as him. Just say you're an onlooker. You're like, the person next to him. Just watch him do his thing because he's amazing.
So what have you been playing, Matt?
Okay, where do we start?
Since you can't exactly have a backlog with the way you play games.
Well, you'd think, right? So actually, I'll give you my exact backlog now. I'm just going to look it up because it's the kind of thing that keeps me up at night.
Is it on the spreadsheet?
No, I just look at on TA basically.
Right.
I should have it in a spreadsheet.
You should have a spreadsheet, definitely. Yeah.
Definitely. So I'm sitting at 95% completion, but okay, I would say the last 2 years have been backlog for me. So at the end of 2019, I basically said, hey, look, I think I've bought pretty much every game that I'm probably ever going to buy, at least for now. And that all I've been doing is buying terrible games. Like I buy 5 every time a sale comes up. I'll buy 5 terrible games. I'll play one of them to completion, and the other 4 go in the backlog. And that is not a sustainable ratio. Like you cannot, cannot do that, right?
See,
and so
I thought you were going to say those 1,000-point games that you get, but you mean proper games, actual games with proper story.
I mean both. Actually, I mean both.
Okay.
But like the thing, it's like a lot of them were like trash, like 5-minute, Radlikers and Zettelon games.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I was trying to do the Hall of Fame stuff and just I was trying to win 4 awards instead of just 2. I was smashing out a lot of really terrible games. But also I've collected games that are like, oh, this looks cool, or this is interesting, or I like this concept, or the achievement list looks doable, but it's like a 20-hour game instead of a 10-hour game. So I'm like, I don't really, it goes in the backlog. We'll get to it. I was like, okay, I need to stop buying these. I just need to stop, because also it's costing me a goddamn fortune. So I need to even on sale, I need to, because it used to be like, oh, I'll only buy something if it's 75% off, like a really good sale. But then it was like, oh, it's 10% off, I'll buy it. It was bad. It was really bad. It was embarrassing. So I was like, okay, I need to put a stop to this. So end of 2019, I basically said, okay, I'm going to try and not buy any more games. And then at the end of 2020, I got there and I bought maybe 20 games, which I was pretty happy about. Again, that's still too many, but it was it was better than the 40 or 50 or 60 that I'd bought the previous year, right? So when you go to your Xbox and it's your games and apps and it shows you how many games you have. I hide everything that I've completed, but it shows you the total number. My total number is over 900. to give you guys some perspective, right? And that obviously doesn't include anything that I rented, anything that I was on Game Pass, and also doesn't include anything that was on the 360 that's not backwards compatible. So
okay.
So yeah, to put that in perspective, there's a lot. I've played 1,794 games apparently, according to TA, and I've completed 1,579. So there's about a 220 or so difference there that I need to close the gap on. And so I've been doing that over the last couple of years, trying to go back to my backlog, clean up old games. But as I've said many times to those who know me, if there's something that's started in my backlog but isn't completed, it's probably for a very good reason. Either I can't find the people to play it with me, the servers are shut down, they're unobtainables, or I'm just not good enough at the damn game. So two of those have come into effect this week, where I've been playing a lot of GTA 5, and by playing I mean rubber banding my controller with a hair tie to drive around in circles for 12 hours a day. Basically, they're shutting down the service for that.
The 360 one, isn't it?
The 360 version, yeah. So I started GTA 5 on the 360. When I got it launch day, it was one of those things I was super hyped for. I love the single player. I played the hell out of it. When it first came out, the multiplayer wasn't released. They basically said, "Hey, we're not done with it." So it was a couple weeks later they released the multiplayer. I tried it once. Got into the first race. I won the race, and it told me that my time was a new world record. I was like, oh my God, I might be the greatest gamer of all time. Are you kidding me? It turns out that, of course, because the game had just came out, the leaderboards were completely broken, and it wasn't recording anyone's time to the leaderboard. So every single person who finished that race was the greatest racer of all time. And so I did that race.
Did you screenshot it though?
No, well, again, I should have, because it was on the 360, so I didn't have, I should have. But no, I put it in, I sent a message to my mate being like, look, man, I'm the greatest of all time. And he's like, yeah, me too. And he's like, why? And he had a better time than me, so I wasn't happy about that. So, and then basically it tried to, load it out, and it was going to load into the actual playing part, and then it just crashed, and it couldn't get into it because it was overloaded. And so I was like, all right, I'll come back to this. And then I got distracted and played something else for
10 years.
10 years, just about, yeah. 10 years. And so now it's like, every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to do the multiplayer for this. They've got all these heists. You need to grind out to level 100. As the years have gone on, people have found exploits to get up to level 100 really quickly. And of course, now that they've patched them all, they've squashed all of it down. But there is one method that works relatively well, which involves setting up a playlist of 16 races that is the same, driving around a horse racing track 8 times to get just over, it's like 4.5 minutes it'll take you each race. And that gives you the perfect ratio to time spent to reputation points gained to level you up. So I started at level 1 when the server closure was announced about a week ago, and I am sitting at level 48. So I have been, and again, it's very minimal. I just have to, every 4.5 minutes, I restart the race. So it's been running in my background while I've been working and that kind of stuff, which has been good, because it's I can work and look over, set it up, go back to work. But it's crazy. It's insane, because I'm I've got till December to fix this up. And then once I hit level 100, I've got to do all the other stuff that you actually need to do, like all the heists and robbing all the stores. And I need to find a partner to hang out with me to go and do all the tennis and the darts and stuff, all the stupid, all the stupid weird little mini game stuff that they put in there. It's not a terribly hard completion, because it's not like the Xbox One version where they put in hey, finish the heist on the hardest difficulty with no one dying or anything like that. So it's relatively simple. It's just time consuming, and time is very short with the server shutdown. Rockstar also announced the other game that I'm playing, coincidentally, not at all. Max Payne 3 is also getting a server shutdown, but this one's happening in September. So that's half as much time for something that I can't idle boost, because I need to hit level 50 on that. And I also need to do some of the co-op stuff. And again, I've been in a lot of sessions for this. For those who don't know, boost on True Achievements, we call times where we organize people to get together to basically, instead of playing a multiplayer game properly, we will sit there and basically grind out the achievements in an optimal way. So if the achievement is, say, get 100 headshots, we won't just play the game to get 100 headshots. We will get 8 of us in a room together in a chat, and we'll take turns shooting someone in the head 100 times to get the achievement and move on to the next person like an assembly line. It is just as insane as it sounds, but it is crazy efficient, and it's people have got it down to a science. So, of course, now that the server closure has been announced, everyone's been rushing to get this game done. So there's sessions like every 3 hours of people being like, okay, we're gonna, like I was in a session this afternoon before this. There was like, okay, we're gonna run through and we're gonna play Max Payne 3, and we're gonna take turns killing each other to get it up experience to get to level 50.
Man.
And it's crazy, but it's like, you know, like what else are you going to do? Because like no one's playing that game legit, and the people who are playing it legit are like super sweaties and are like crazy good at the game. And it's like I don't have time to mess around with that. Like I've got too much other stuff to play. So slowly working on that, but that's essentially those 2 server closures have basically ruined my next 6 months because like that's all I'm going to have time to play. Although I am playing a couple of things in between, you know, to keep my sanity and also while people aren't online. So I've also been playing The Messenger, which is again the reason I'm playing that is because of another ticking clock. It's being removed from Game Pass at the end of the month, and I hadn't played it, so I've been Valicking it, as we say in our community. Thanks to one Valak C who coined the term. Every time he starts a game, he only starts games when they're leaving Game Pass, never when they're added to them, which is like it's a sickness. The man's crazy, but he does finish them and he is good at them. And he's like, "Oh, your Messenger was really good. I enjoyed it. It was challenging in some parts, but I was good." The man was underselling it. This game is tough. It's a Ninja Gaiden. It's a Ninja Gaiden game crossed with Metroidvania. So it starts off as a typical side-scrolling adventure where you're a ninja and you have to climb a mountain, go through all these trials and fight bosses. And then when you get to halfway point, the game opens up and you basically go back and you can explore the map and do extra stuff that's been unlocked with your new abilities, which is kind of typical. But they do it. It's very self-referential and funny. It's like they've got like a really, really good sense of humor to it, which is good because the game is frustrating as hell. It has the only problem I have really is that it has instant death if you fall in certain pits. So it's like if you get hit by an enemy, you take some health damage. But there's a lot of times you get hit by an enemy, fall into a pit, and you have to go back to a checkpoint. Like there isn't like, oh, you lose some health. It's just back to the checkpoint. And every time you die, there is a sassy one-eyed demon that it has a magic ring that takes you back in time. And he has just like those sassiest comments. Like one of them was pro tip, avoid the spikes, which I was like, thanks, appreciate that. It's like, and then one of them, I died on a lot of spikes, so I saw a lot of spike related ones. One of them was, what do I and Spikes have in common? We've both got your back. I've got very annoyed with this creature. But it's also suffering. Like there was one where he's like, hey, if someone's watching you can just tell them that there was input lag. Don't worry about it. So I guess, it's like the game is very funny and I'm enjoying it, but I'm doing the DLC, which is probably the toughest part of the game in there, where you have to race against a dark version of yourself through like an obstacle course of enemies and like pits and stuff and get to the end of the race. And there's a total of like 10 stages. And so you have to win five in total to beat them. But the achievement is called Perfect Star, and you have to win each of the 5 stages in a row. And they get harder and harder and harder. So I have mastered the first 4 stages to the stage where I can almost do them blindfolded. But the 5th stage, because you can't skip to it, you have to redo the previous ones every time. And because the achievement is missable. So if I finish it, then I'm stuffed and I have to redo the whole DLC. Mm-hmm. So I've just been getting to that point and just resetting myself when I miss it. The last part is essentially you get like the squirrel glider, ninja thing where you glide down, and you also get like a grappling hook. So you need to essentially fly down and then grapple, jump, grapple, jump, grapple, jump, grapple, jump, grapple across, fly, grapple, jump, all the way to the end without losing any momentum. So if you hit something, if you stop, if an enemy hits you, anything like that, and you just stop dead, the other guy just flies past you and wins immediately. I have not been able to do it to the stage where I spent 2 hours on it before we started this. And I was like, no, I need to stop this now because otherwise I'm not going to be ready for podcasting because I'm going to be, it's not going to be a pretty sight. So I'm probably going to put it down for the evening, but I was like, I need to do this at some stage because I only have till the end of the month. And like you guys said, that clock is ticking, right? The end of June is coming up very quickly. And like I'm away for work next week. So I have to get it done this week. So, and like it's right at the end. It's like I beat this and then there's a final boss for the DLC and then I'm done with the whole game. I've done everything else. It's just this one last stumbling block that is just absolutely messing me up. And I was talking with Valak about it, and I was like, yeah, I put 2 hours into this that I'm just not getting back. He's like, oh, you're still working on that. And I'm just been like, because he's like, yeah, like it was difficult, but like it only took me like 30 minutes. So, you love hearing that, right? You love hearing that something is easy that you're really struggling on. That always motivates people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. It doesn't make you want to just lean across and throttle them at all.
Exactly. So, but I have to get there. So, because I was considering because there's also a Windows 10 version of it that has a separate achievement list, and the whole another game again. And like I was like up to this point, I was like, this game is difficult, but like I've gotten through it so far, and I've struggled a bit, but I can do this. But at this point, I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Just leave Game Pass. I never want to play this again.
This is want to see your game.
No, exactly.
Go away. But that's amazing.
But yeah, so it's good to me. That'll be pretty much my my next few months. I mean, unless they announce more server closures, which it feels like they're going to. There's a lot of 360 server closures happening at the moment. So I'm looking through my list, being like, okay, I've got to do like the Guardians of Middle Earth, Dota, Lord of the Rings game for some reason that I've started, and like I've got like a Syndicate, a couple of achievements to do, and like I was looking through the list and I was like, oh, okay, what's not backwards compatible? That's probably going to drop off. Like there was a game called Fuse that was a Insomniac game that they did that EA shut the servers for at the beginning of June and just didn't tell anybody until now.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh, great. I got the one achievement that has to be online, but now I need to find a really good in-person co-op buddy to help me with it because it's really tough. But anyway, it's like I'm less it's more triage at this point than playing video games.
Oh, that's funny.
But there's some enjoyment in there somewhere. I'll find it.
I will find it. I will keep playing it until I find it.
Yeah, exactly.
The enjoyment will be hearing that last ping, putting the controller down and saying, I never have to see this game again in my life.
Exactly. The grinding shall continue until morale improves.
That's amazing. Especially the whole standing in a room and shooting each other in the face to get an achievement.
So that's how me and Kinsman did Division 2, or the multiplayer stuff. When you go into the black area, we just killed each other in a certain way. And then Diabolic Jester joined us as well. So all three of us are trying to kill each other just so we could get the achievement for dying and becoming. You have to be a rogue agent and then kill somebody or die as or something. That was there was a weird thing about being a rogue agent. So you have to kill someone to become a rogue agent, and then you have to be killed by somebody when you're a rogue agent or something like that. So
Yep.
Man.
It worked. It took us a lot of goes though because we kept dying the wrong time. Oh, pain.
Takes practice.
It does. Yeah, it does take time to practice dying.
I remember the Division was the original Division because they added that last stand mode that was like 16 players. Trying to coordinate 16 people without any random people just jumping in and ruining the whole thing. Oh man, there was a lot of salt. And also like it was, we had a lot of people who didn't speak English and from different parts of the world. And we're like, hey, no, I want to go for the achievement. And it's just like, took a long time, a lot of hours wasted.
Oh yeah. And especially these guys are in the States as well, so God knows what time it is for those guys.
Yeah, someone set up a session for Max Payne. They're like, oh, we're going to do like a 5-hour session. It's at like 3 a.m. I'm like, I need to get this game done, but I don't need to get this game done that badly. Yeah. I think I'll organize my own session. Thank you.
That's dedication. 3 a.m. What are you doing? I have to get this achievement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, boss, I can't come into work today. I have to get an achievement.
I'm very sick. Really? It's like, yes, I'm sick of playing this game. It's just...
I'm pretty sure if you were to say to them, hey, look, the servers are shutting down. I need to get this achievement to maintain my Xbox Guard status. They'll be like, oh, yeah, just take as much leave as you want.
Sure, why not? Yes, I work from home anyway, as long as I just keep hitting the enter button. It's funny you were talking about like bells and whistles. It's funny because like I work in digital automation, so I work between the marketing and the IT team. So I get to tell the marketing team why all the bells and whistles are bad, and to help them convince the IT team that they need to start turning some of these things on.
Yep.
And sign some of it on, but not all of it. It goes about as well as you'd expect.
Yeah, so I changed my role recently to IT manager, and then immediately get all these marketing people contacting me, trying to sell me stuff constantly. I'm like, guys,
wow,
all the security stuff, and have you looked at this? It's like, just send me an email. Yes, I'll ring you soon. That keeps them quiet.
Yep.
Send me an email.
Yep.
Send me an email. I'll ring you soon. Oh, that's amazing.
LinkedIn. I blame LinkedIn.
Fantastic.
Kyle, what have you been playing?
Apart from Anthem with Simone, I've been stuck on Monster Hunter World. That is my back to your backlog game. And I've decided there's a cool little mechanic in the game where you can wishlist armor. So you can say, these armor and these weapons I want to wishlist. And then when you've got the parts for it, it pops up on your screen saying, hey, you've got the parts for this helmet. You've got the parts for these feet. You know, you can get a new big sword. So I've found this armor that makes me look like a mech cat. Mecha cat.
Cool.
It's like the most Japanese thing ever. It's like goth mech cat. So it's huge, big and bulky, sparks black. And then the problem is, I didn't have any parts for it. But luckily, I'm in the part of the story where I have found the monster that just so happens to have the skin that I need to graft this mech cat armor. So I spent about 2 hours of my life sitting where the monster spawns and trying to just murder this entire monster's lineage as new ones spawn, and then forgetting to drink potions and dying. And then you forget to eat and die, and then you just get unceremoniously dumped back at camp. Where you just get hoofed back at camp, your guy stands up and wobbles around a bit, and then you go off to the canteen and order some more food and do it all over again. But it's great because the camp is right where the monster spawns.
How far are you from through this game? Do you reckon you're going to complete it this month? Like the main story?
Probably not. The reason I decided to go get this monster cat armor, because I got to this point in the story where there's this giant dragon thing that seems to shoot ice out of its tail at you. And once it shoots ice at you, you then start losing health and stamina, so you can't do any of your cool whooshy moves with your awesome big sword, because to wave your sword takes stamina, and you don't have stamina. So you're lugging around this gigantic paperweight that looks really cool, in a daze, going from one side of the monster to the other, as the monster turns around and whacks you with its claw, and then you fall back down again because you got no stamina to stand up. And then as you stand up, you start in a daze, wandering somewhere else, and the monster looks at you and smacks you again, and it's just
It's a loop.
an effort and frustration.
It's a loop.
Yeah, a loop
of
death.
doom. Yes.
So does this armor helps you get through that monster?
Well, the armor I was wearing before was like entry-level armor. So the first type of armor you get in the game, I was like, this is the armor. I'm going to upgrade it, and I'm going to go to the end of the game wearing this armor to show it's possible. It's not possible. This is a Japanese game, let's be honest.
No.
They want you to upgrade to the biggest and best
But don't you have to
armor.
wear certain armor for certain creatures, don't you? Isn't that the idea of the game? You change your weapon, change your armor, depending what you're doing.
And, oh man, anyone who hates clown armor or like mismatching sets would absolutely despise this game, because each piece of armor has a skill, and that skill is on level 1. And the only way to get that skill to level 2 is to wear a piece of armor that has that skill as well. No set of armor has health skills for the hat and the feet and the hands and everything.
Right.
Each piece of armor has, like, the head gives you plus 10 to health. The hands give you plus 10 to attack. If you want plus 10 to attack everywhere, your hat, your body, your hands, your legs, your feet, even your sword or whatever doesn't match. They're all completely different armor sets. And the game knows it, because as you walk in, right, as you walk into the guy who crafts your armor, the dudes who get excited each time you're like, I want a new sword, they even say, are you sick of clown outfits? Because we are too.
Oh my goodness.
And you go, you little bastard, really? You're the one making my armor. You can put the stats on these things. Why are you making me dress like a clown?
That's true, actually. They're just playing you, aren't they?
They just want more money. So
hey, they're running a business.
Capitalists.
Capitalists,
and
that's
then
right.
they tell you how happy they are to have your business and how they're helping you and all the rest. And
Yeah,
you
it's
don't know
just
you're not.
fancy words to make you feel good.
It's just it's the bourgeoisie just be putting that foot on your neck. You know, they're trying to keep you down, and clown.
Down and clown.
Down and clown. But it's hilarious because even the game acknowledges to the point where you can get these layered armor sets, which basically takes the armor you're wearing and just transmorgs it into something cool. So I can dress as a cool looking samurai as a layered set because I bought Iceborne with the DLC when it was on special, and it unlocks the cool samurai set. But I don't know. I feel like I don't want to play through the Monster Hunter World base game with stuff from Iceborne, because it seems to take away the fun. And the fun is, dying and being carted back to the camp and feeling like a failure.
I think the idea of it was that they give you the good armor so you don't have to go through all the trouble, and then you get to the cool stuff of Iceborne, which is all the dragons and whatever. I think that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
and then hate that too,
and then die,
it's
and
just
then
like-
have to get better armor anyway. So yeah.
So yeah, but it's quite fun. I just like the idea of looking cool, having cool stuff, and you know, I've managed to master the double-bladed attack, and then I thought, oh, I'm gonna change to the like it's the insect glaive, so it's this
Ooh,
long stick with two pointy bits on the end. It's basically like a long spear with two pointy bits, and then you shoot these insects at the monster, and then you get the insects back, and the insects give you special powers. And then the stick allows you to do flippy stuff, and you can jump all over the monster like a gymnast.
Flippy stuff.
And I changed to this, and I pulled out my sword, my thing, and instantly died. I was like, I have no idea how to play this. I've been playing the game with my two sword hand things like a ninja this whole time. I can't be this gymnast ninja. It's just nonsense. So I went back to my double-bladed swords, and then I owned the monster again, and I just hung around where they spawn. And it's hilarious because as the monster dies, the body stays there, and you're watching this body, and then out of the ground pops the new one, and you go, oh yeah, look what I just did to your mate. I'm really sorry, but we're gonna have to do this again. But this game, each time the monsters get to a certain destroyedness or injuredness, they start hobbling away and crying and whimpering. And then you got to decide whether you capture it, which gives you better things or different resources, or you can then slay it and get like bones and stuff which you need to do better things. So it's a really interesting choice. And oftentimes when you're trying to capture it, you don't realize how injured it is. So you're like, oh, one more bonk on the nose with my sword, and it dies. And you go, oh no. Whoops, I'm sorry, dude. I was trying to capture you and save your life, and I just accidentally murdered you.
Luckily, there's more of those where they're from, right?
Yeah, pretty much it's never ending well. Like, I have killed your great-grandfather and your grandfather and your father, and now you are next. And the poor monster just rolls away from me, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, dude, but I really want this cat armor. I have to look cool. Your sacrifice will not be in vain. But the other thing I've done is my cat, the little cat that runs around, the Palico dude that follows you around, he's all dressed in Hawaiian shirt and Hawaiian hat, and he's got a little ukulele that he smacks things with. So the game is great. It's not serious, but also serious at the same time, especially in the cutscenes when you're wearing your custom armor, and everyone's like, oh, this dragon is coming to take over the world and we need to attack the dragon. And here you are standing in your cat armor, and you're like, I am the person to take him down. Wearing mecha cat armor.
Oh, I've got a video for you after this. It's just that encapsulates that just perfectly. It's just the Japanese do love that, where it's just like they just like allowing character customization just allows like the most ridiculous cutscene stuff ever, because you just completely break all the immersion. It's
so good. It's so funny, especially when they have those events. Like my handler was dressed in this Hawaiian outfit for the Summerfest, and she's busy trying to give you this really serious, we got to do this speech. And she's got like a flower in her hair and like flower thing around her, and like walking around in a bikini top, and you're going, oh yeah, well, I'm off fighting monsters. You're here getting a suntan, aren't you? Just, enjoying the weather.
Oh, so fantastic.
So yeah, I've been neck deep in Monster Hunter World, and I'm enjoying it. Once you get your head around the mechanics and the gameplay loop, it's a lot of fun. And just seeing the armor customizations and that, I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm probably going to continue this a bit more after June, simply because I need to, and at least want to get to Iceborne. I want to see all the pretty armor, and there's some cool armor, like a cool little parka that I can put my cat in, so he will look all snug as a bug and cute. So that's my goal.
Wow.
Hopefully I can get it sorted in the next, week?
Yeah, no, 8 days. Come on, dude.
So playing have I got into about 20 hours of a 200-hour plus game? Yep. Just hold PRB. I'm not going to sleep for a bit. Hold my beer. And that's it. That's pretty much what we've been playing. Now, I know Simone had a interesting opinion about the Xbox mini fridge, a potentially controversial opinion that she would like to share with the audience.
Sure.
You know how we talked before the show about getting cancelled?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ah, yes.
Okay, no, I'm not as ranty about this as I was earlier in the day. But gosh, how do I start this? The whole idea of the Xbox mini fridge it is great, is just Microsoft taking advantage of stupid consumers.
I mean, to be fair, you're talking about the video game consumer here. I mean,
I'm wearing my Xbox top.
I know.
I mean, they couldn't get much stupider, to be honest. Like, I mean, like, it's like we're already at the bottom of the barrel. Like, we already have microtransactions. We already have season passes. Like we already had like Project $10 when EA was like, hey, if you want to play this game online, give us $10 on top of the $10 you already give Microsoft.
Yeah.
Look, Mini Fridge was just the next one on the line. Like, it was,
and we're just suckers for it, eh?
100%. 100%.
Because I love how many people are going to go, I don't need it, but I'm going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, to be fair, I'm almost expected to get it, right? Like, it's kind of, it's kind of like the meme thing is that, like, I need to get it and make sure Cameron doesn't get one. Is actually as long as he doesn't get one, that's the main thing, actually.
Absolutely.
Because someone on the show needs to have one, but I want there is no practical purpose for most people to own a mini fridge. Like, I can literally see my fridge from where I'm sitting right now. Like, I would have to get up and go and I would have to get up, take things out of that fridge and put them into the mini fridge. And even then, like, I don't have anywhere for me to, my mini fridge wouldn't be in a spot where I could just reach over and get. I would still have to get up, which defeats literally the whole purpose of having it.
Can you power your mini fridge from your Xbox using USB?
Ooh. That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Then my power bill would just
have an Xbox fridge.
Yeah, Xbox, yeah.
I love how many people on probably Twitter especially and YouTube who have to get it so that they can do an unboxing and show that they got it for their entire
Do you think they'll be buying them or just be given
content?
They'll just be given them, won't they?
Yeah, who knows? Those that are high up enough will get given a fridge, maybe. But then there are those that can't be left out, so they have to buy a fridge, whether they want to or not.
I worry that I'm going to be in the second category, wishing I was in the first,
Yep, I know the feeling.
Cameron has said in the chat that apparently when I get my fridge, that it'll be off-center, slightly off-center, just like my
just to mess with your OCD.
OCD, yeah, because that was my Hall of Fame award, the first one that I got, because they sent me two. Well, they sent me one, and it was slightly off-center, the icon on it, and I complained enough, they sent me another one.
Oh my word!
Yeah, yes, I was like, this is absolutely unacceptable. Also, the Series X didn't. The disk drive was broken on it when they sent it to me, and they got it to me super late. So I was like, and also the hoodie doesn't fit, but that's more my fault than theirs. But
that's because you sit on a couch.
Yeah, I get. Look, I ordered a large, right? I ordered a large, and I ordered like, I was expecting it. Like, it fits Allison pretty well, but like, but apparently it's hers now, so whatever. She's the Hall of Famer.
That's right.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's great. I think I'm Kyle. Were you excited when you saw the mini fridge?
Yeah, it looks very cool. We have no use for it at all, but it looks cool.
You need to put stuff in the fridge.
Don't have space.
Keep things cold.
It's, me, I'm going to keep it in its box.
Oh, yes, he does.
I buy collector's editions to never unwrap them and download the game online instead.
No, Kyle is the worst. He wants to buy, like, he loves Xbox controllers, but he wants to buy them and keep them in the box and not use them, just put them on display.
I mean,
what a waste.
You buy one to use and one to look at, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, man.
Or you have two hands, so you buy three.
It's like collectibles, controllers, mail order brides. Like, you got to make sure that you get them, the right amount, because you want them in box and mint condition.
Doesn't make them dirty. That's right.
No, exactly right. Yeah, because if you take it out of the box, it loses all of its value.
Right,
it's like driving a Porsche off the lot.
You can guarantee someone will scuff it or mark it or something as well.
Oh, yeah, especially if you have a house with other people in it, like they can't be trusted.
No. Here's a question though: is the outside what's it? Is it going to be made of metal like most fridges are, at least on the outside?
I suspect so.
Yeah, I would probably. Yeah,
yeah, because that thing's going to get fingerprints on it. It's not going to stay shiny for very long at all.
Well, I mean, no one's going to touch it, right? It's going to be in the box.
Yeah, don't turn it on.
Yeah, in the box. That's why we keep it in the box.
No, this drives me insane. What a waste.
I'm with you, Simone. I'm completely with you.
Thank you.
I buy stuff and then use it.
Thank you. I'm like, okay, man. Here's the bombshell, right? We pretend we care about the environment until it comes to pretty things.
Oh, I don't even pretend. You kidding me? I'm way beyond that. Are you kidding me? don't care about the environment. This rock is gonna turn into a fireball, and I'm just riding it until it does. Like, I'm not going to like open the fridge up and pour the Freon into a waterway, okay? But like, beyond that, like, I still want cool things in my life because I've only got like another 20, 30 years maybe. So it's like, enjoy the things, enjoy fridges while they exist and while we have electricity.
That's true.
But before the water wars start and it all goes to hell.
Well, the air ones.
I mean, like,
that'd be interesting.
That too. But actually, because I put myself in the sweepstakes to win the full sized Xbox fridge because I was like, that's what I want. But mini fridge is a consolation prize I'll take. I'm just hoping that they bring them out here. That's my main worry. It's not that like how much is it going to be or when is it coming out. Is it even going to end up in New Zealand?
Yeah.
Do they know where New Zealand is on the map? Because apparently they can hold events here, but they take them forever to build data centers or give us cloud gaming. So,
yeah. No, that's
there was something. I completely lost my train of thought. Oh yes, I just want to say I love how honest you are.
I mean, like I can't help it at this point, right? Like
it's great.
There's no point in lying to people. I mean, I work in marketing for my day job. I can't be all smoke and mirrors all the time, right? Like it's not.
It's tiring, right?
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare when I just want to be my terrible misanthropic self and just hate on humanity and everything in it.
Exactly.
I mean, we used to do a bit on RGS before I lost track of it, where we had a note where at the end of the show I would tell everyone my gamer tag and the outro bit, and I would, if it was an odd episode, I would tell everyone that I hated them, and if they ever contacted me, I would find them and their children. And if it was an even episode, I would do the opposite and tell them that I loved everyone, and just to keep people on their toes.
I love it.
So the problem was that obviously I just read the note because I was like, I'm not going to keep track of which one I did last week because I could barely remember what I did yesterday. Cameron, as he said in the chat, went in and swapped it. And then, but the thing is, he told me that he swapped it, and then he told me he swapped it back, but I didn't know, and I wasn't going to go back and listen to an entire episode to figure out if I was mean at the end of the episode or nice, but to make sure that I did the opposite one. So I just started being mean all the time. I figured that was just easier.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we only have so much mental energy in a day. You have to pick your battles.
Yeah, and
you have to pick your lies.
And I have very, very little of it to begin with. So it's like just like I have to I optimize my video gaming and I optimize my day-to-day of just putting up with human beings, including myself.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, fantastic.
I didn't articulate my point very well because I didn't write down any notes. So it was all just coming from up here. It totally makes sense. I mean, like I'm probably going to buy the fridge for the meme and not for anything else. I don't even know if I'll plug it in because they'll have no use for it. And if I do, I'll put like Mountain Dew in it because it's green and it's on brand. Oh, okay, but do take a photo of that because it will look amazing.
Oh, of course, absolutely. You kidding me? I'm not going
to buy a ring. We just pictures.
Yeah, I'm going to do an unboxing. Like it's going to be the best produced thing
dedicated to taking it out of a box.
It'll be the best produced thing I've ever done, and I've done like over almost 100 episodes of RGS.
I think you should buy some green lights to put around the green lights of the green lights on the box. Just go.
I don't have a webcam or a ring light. I have a microphone, but that's it. But in terms of like wanting to, do this 20-second bit that I'm going to make a video for, I'm going to buy the DSLR and I'm going to get the whole lighting rig and everything. Of course, like if you're going to waste money, you might as well go big.
Brilliant.
You can pretend to make it look massive as well.
Yeah, I'll do forced perspective. That's a great idea.
That is actually.
I'll just put Alison next to it. She's tiny.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Get her climbing out of it, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like Houdini.
I'm fully expecting just a hand to come into the frame and just like whack you in the face.
That's pretty much what just about happened. Though again, like I said, it's a long couch and she's quite short, so she hasn't quite got she got the T-Rex arm problem.
We'll just throw the couch out.
No, you're not in frame, sweetheart. No, still not in frame. What? No.
Fingertips. There we go.
There we go.
Okay. That's about what I deserve.
Brilliant.
That's a good idea. Just buy lots of them and have them stacked on top of each other. I like it, Shadow. That's a good idea. Yeah,
Cameron's he's going to stack 8 of them to basically they're going to merge together. He'll do the Minecraft thing and make 9 of them to make one big fridge.
And then go defeat the Xbox Dragon.
Yeah, exactly.
The end boss.
I love it.
The end of fridge. Yeah.
I love it.
Brilliant. Well, I think that's about us for tonight, unless anyone has anything else pressing that they'd like to just let the world know.
Oh.
That's fine. I have my therapy session on Wednesday, so I'm good.
Simone sounded interesting.
No, I just said no. But if we get cancelled, I think we can say it's Matt's fault because it's the first time he's been on.
100%. Do it.
Yeah, there we go.
Do it. I need the notoriety. It just makes me stronger.
Bring Matt on if you want your podcast to end. Could be your tagline.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's probably not a bad transition for me to do some plugging, actually.
Controversy is,
the sales.
Like, absolutely, and because Twitch doesn't allow sex, so I have to do something. So I suppose we'll transition to podcast ending. If you don't mind me plugging my stuff.
Go ahead. Tell everyone where they can find you, and plug yourself to your heart's content.
All right. So that's on my OnlyFans. If you want to find me and my content, if you're very quick about it, you'll find the final episode of the Real Gamerscore podcast, of which Cameron, Shadowless Edge, and I host. We'll have Garrett Atkins on of the Unnamed Xbox Project on, and we're going to announce our new show that we're going to be doing for them, and we're going to announce the name on that episode, hopefully, again, as long as we get.
So does that mean it's going to be the name of the actual unnamed Xbox project as well?
Well, we'll again, that depends on timing, because that's a bigger announcement. But we'll at least announce our part of it and the show that we're going to be doing.
Is it on Friday?
So that will be this Friday. Yes.
Okay.
So we'll so make sure you guys catch that. Otherwise, we'll do the audio version will come out on the Tuesday, as this episode, my episode did today. We'll have Garrett on to talk a little bit about UXP and reveal what we can. Again, we've been teasing this announcement because it's been an announcement of an announcement. We've been doing the whole video game company thing. I'm surprised we haven't got a countdown clock going yet.
I'm sure there is somewhere.
But yes, absolutely. So, we're super excited. For those who don't know, Cameron and I run the Real Gamerscore podcast over on our Discord, IGS, and basically we talk about achievements and sort of the quote unquote hardcore side of gaming. Although it's basically just an excuse for us to yell at each other and talk about news and just basically make fun of each other for our poor taste in video games and skill at them
and music.
And yes, of course, my musical talents and Cameron's lack thereof knowledge of. But basically the idea is with the new podcast, we're going to be transplanting all of that over. So make sure you stay tuned. Again, we want to keep the spirit of RGS with the new show, but with a couple of tweaks and some new guests and a few other bits and pieces that we're going to be changing up, including a new Discord server, which we will let you guys know about shortly.
That's exciting.
But otherwise, you can find me, Matt_Johnson, on Twitter. I don't post anything there, so I don't know why you'd follow me, but you can.
Can you spell your name, though? Can you spell your name? Because you don't spell it properly.
I do not spell it properly. You're right. So it's MAT_JONSSON. I've gotten really good at saying that because I've had to do it for the last 29 years of my life. And otherwise, you can find me, Neomaster is my gamer tag, and my on True Achievements, Xbox, and the Discord. But make sure also, make sure you join us over on Discord / RealGamerScore? I don't even know anymore.
Oh dear, words.
So many of them. Again, we want to. I want to cross pollinate these communities as much as possible because you guys are fantastic, and I've had a super great time being on the show. And your community is also hilarious. So,
yes, they are. They're quite special.
Thank you.
They're very special, and I love it. It's 100% my vibe of just pure surrealism.
Oh, and we love them to pieces. I don't know how we got
they
them,
found us.
Yeah. Everyone's just a gem.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to join us. We'll have links to wherever you can find Matt and the Real Gamerscore podcast in our episode description, like we normally do. But yeah, thanks for taking the time out to join us, Matt, and good luck. It sounds like this new podcast is going to be a massive thing.
I mean, I'm not going to quit my day job quite yet, but hey, who knows?
Excellent. Well, we'll be
great.
Cheering you on from the sidelines over here.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys.
Awesome. And Lee?
I too have joined the EXP as well as a writer, which is really bizarre. But I don't know what to say, really. So bizarre. I'm Lee Howd on Twitter and Lee Howd on Xbox. Yeah, it's kind of been a weird week, to be honest.
We're seeing a lot of people around the community pop up in the project that I'm like, oh, hey, that guy.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, because Ahmed was who called me out. Wasn't he? He came on the podcast last week. Yeah,
I came on the pod last week on RGS telling us that you'd been accepted.
Yeah, so that's quite cool. So it's interesting because I know I actually work with other writers and lead writers and editors and stuff. It's all a bit of a weird thing going on. There's a team.
Lots to learn.
Lots to learn. Yeah, lots to learn. Yeah.
And games of, and Cameron mentions Games of Dane also joined us today as well.
Today,
which is great because we had him on RGS a few weeks back, and he's a hoot.
Cool.
Oh, awesome. And Simone?
I am Jim Bean NZ on Xbox Network and Twitter. That's going to take a long time to not have me think about it.
Yeah, I don't know why they changed the name. It's so annoying.
It's a bit weird.
But anyway, everyone knew what Xbox Live was.
Yeah.
But anyway. So yeah, I am Zarkrus. You can find me on Xbox, XARCRIUS. Also check out the Xbox Cast on Twitter, on Twitch. Check out our Discord. We've got links on our Twitter, I believe, to get there. And yeah, thank you guys for listening.
Hey, one second. We could be affiliate as well if we fill the forms in.
Oh yeah, we need to become Twitch affiliates.
Yes, which is awesome.
We've ticked the number boxes.
Yeah, we just need to fill in
we meet the criteria.
25 forms now to.
In triplicate.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Yeah. I started doing it. I was like, this is too hard. And then
we just need to send some blood samples to Amazon before they accept us.
I mean, they've already got them, but they just need to match them to make sure that you say you are.
That's how they verify you. It's 3-factor authentication. These 21.
Brilliant. Well, thank you guys for listening. We've been the Xbox Cast, and thank you very much for Matt for joining us. It's been great fun. We hope you have a good episode or good something. I'm tripping up my words. It's clearly time to go. Goodbye and good night.